Welcome to a deep dive into something pretty profound, I'd say, the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's a hymn dedicated to Lord Shiva,
Right.
and we're really going to try to go beyond just the words themselves.
Absolutely.
You've shared some excerpts from the hymn itself, along with some background,
Yes.
and I think our mission here is to really try to uncover,
Mhm.
some of those layers of meaning that maybe aren't obvious at first glance.
Right.
We're talking about protection,
Hmm.
facing fear,
Yes.
and even the nature of life and death.
One of the things that's so fascinating about this hymn is how it speaks to those very human fears while also sort of offering a path toward transcending them.
Okay.
Right from the start, we're introduced to Chandrasekhara, the one adorned with the moon.
Okay.
And this name isn't just poetic, it's like a glimpse into Shiva's very nature.
The moon imagery, I can see how it sets a certain tone, but what's the deeper significance there?
Well, the moon in Hindu symbolism represents calmness, detachment.
Oh.
It's unaffected by all the chaos of the world, below.
Right.
So by linking Shiva with the moon right away, the hymn is telling us this is a being who embodies tranquility, transcendence.
That's interesting. So even as we dive into these very weighty topics, there's this underlying sense of peace, of a higher perspective.
Exactly. And if we connect that to the bigger picture, the moon's cycle of waxing and waning also reflects the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth, like a core concept in Hindu philosophy.
So we're not just talking about escaping fear,
No.
but about understanding our place in these larger cycles, these grand rhythms of existence.
Right. And that yearning for safety, for something beyond our fears, it comes through so strongly in the repeated phrase. So what can the god of death do to me?
It's a powerful statement. It almost sounds defiant, like a declaration of faith in the face of ultimate fear.
It is defiant, but it also speaks to a very human need for security,
Sure.
for something to hold on to when facing the uncertainties of life and especially death.
Of course.
And the hymn doesn't shy away from those very real dangers either. Yeah.
Illness, poverty, negativity, even spiritual harm.
Right.
I mean, these are concerns that resonate with us all, no matter our background.
It's like the hymn acknowledges our fears, our vulnerabilities, before offering a path towards overcoming them.
Precisely. And that path is illuminated through the specific powers and attributes of Shiva, which are described in vivid detail throughout the hymn.
It's like a divine resume, but with a lot more cosmic power.
Right.
One image that stuck with me is Shiva destroying 3 cities with a bow made of a mountain, using Lord Vishnu himself as the arrow.
Wow.
It's intense.
It's a powerful image that speaks to Shiva's immense unstoppable force.
Mm-hmm.
But the hymn doesn't just describe raw power.
Right.
It uses very specific imagery to convey a deeper meaning.
What do you mean?
We'll take the mountain, for example.
Okay.
It represents stability, immovability.
Okay.
Gems, on the other hand, symbolize purity, preciousness.
Okay.
So combining these, the hymn tells us that Shiva's power is not only vast,
Yeah.
but it's also righteous, even divine in its nature. So it's not just about brute force, but about a power that's aligned with a higher purpose, a cosmic order.
Exactly. And that purpose includes protecting those who seek refuge in him.
Okay.
It's about a power that acts with purpose, not just randomly.
Then there's that verse where Shiva burns the god of love to ashes with fire from his third eye.
Yeah.
It's intense, and I have to admit, a little unsettling.
It is. But it reveals a crucial aspect of Shiva's power.
I
Control over even the most powerful emotions.
Okay.
Love, desire, passion. These can consume us, drive us to act in harmful ways.
Sure.
Shiva, through this act, shows his mastery over these primal urges.
Right.
He represents a higher consciousness that transcends those baser instincts.
So it's not just about physical protection, but also about safeguarding ourselves from our own internal turmoil, from those emotions that can lead us astray.
Exactly. And this theme of self-control of detachment is further emphasized by the imagery of Shiva covered in holy ash.
Oh, okay.
Ash in Hindu tradition symbolizes renunciation, the letting go of worldly attachments.
Right.
It's a stark reminder of the impermanence of all things.
So even in these images of incredible power,
Yeah.
there's this thread of letting go, of detachment from the things that we often cling to.
Precisely. It's a powerful juxtaposition that speaks to the heart of the hymn's message.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps the most striking example of this balance is the story of Shiva drinking poison to save the world.
That story always gets to me. It's
Yeah.
hard to wrap your head around.
Mhm.
This being of immense power, willingly taking on suffering, sacrificing himself for the greater good.
It is, and it reveals another key facet of Shiva's character. compassion.
Okay.
He isn't a distant, aloof deity.
Right.
He's actively involved in the world, willing to intervene to take on suffering, to ensure the well-being of all creatures.
So we're building this picture of Shiva as protector.
Yes.
Immense power, mastery over emotions,
Yeah.
selflessness, compassion. It's a powerful combination.
It is, and all of these qualities come together in a very dramatic way in the story of Markandeya.
The boy who escaped death by clinging to a Shivalingam.
Yes.
That story has always stuck with me.
It's a powerful story embedded within the hymn that brings to life the idea of Shiva as the ultimate protector, even against death itself. Would you like to recount the story for our listener?
Sure. So Markandeya was destined to die young, but he was a devoted worshiper of Shiva. When Yama, the god of death, came to claim his soul, Markandeya clung to a Shivalingam,
Yes.
a representation of Shiva seeking his protection.
Mm-hmm.
And as Yama tried to pull Markandeya away, his noose accidentally encircled the Shivalingam.
And that's when Shiva bursts forth from the Shivalingam in a fury, confronting Yama directly.
Wow.
It's this incredible moment that showcases Shiva's power over death itself.
Yeah.
He defeats Yama, saving Markandeya and granting him immortality.
It's a powerful image, and within the context of the hymn, it serves as this ultimate reassurance, even in the face of death.
Yes.
This inescapable force. There's a higher power that can intervene, that can offer protection.
And that reassurance, that profound sense of hope permeates the entire Chandrashekhara Ashtakam. It's a glimpse into the relationship between humanity and the divine, especially when grappling with fear and the reality of our own mortality.
But it does so through more than just grand declarations.
Right.
It's the imagery, the storytelling that really makes it resonate.
Absolutely. The hymn uses symbolism and storytelling to engage our emotions, our imagination, allowing us to connect with these themes on a much deeper, more personal level.
And there's so much symbolism to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
The moon on Shiva's head.
Yes.
The serpent, ornaments, the elephant skin garment, those three all-seeing eyes.
Yes.
Each element adds another layer of meaning.
Yes. And if we delve into that symbolism, it opens up even more layers of understanding.
Okay.
For example, the serpents adorning Shiva represent his mastery over desires and the cycles of life and death.
Okay.
Serpents shed their skin, they're reborn.
Right.
They represent transformation and overcoming obstacles, even transcending our limitations.
That makes me think of how we might view our own challenges,
Yeah.
our own periods of darkness and change.
Precisely. And the elephant skin garment elephants are powerful, majestic creatures, symbols of strength and wisdom.
Okay.
By wearing this garment, Shiva embodies those qualities, reminding us of his untamed primal aspect, a force to be reckoned with.
It's like he's wearing a symbol of his own power, a reminder of his connection to the natural world, to those primal forces.
And those three eyes, one of the most iconic images of Shiva, they speak to his omniscience, his awareness of the past, present, and future.
Okay.
Nothing escapes his notice.
Right.
He sees and understands everything.
It's a powerful image, almost unnerving,
Yes.
but also reassuring in a way.
Right.
It's like knowing that there's a higher power that sees the bigger picture, the complexities of life in a way that we can't even grasp.
Exactly. And that's where the real power of the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam lies.
Okay.
It's not just reciting words or memorizing stories.
Right.
It's about connecting with these deeper themes, allowing them to resonate within us,
Yeah.
to inform our own understanding of the world and our place in it.
So it's about taking these symbols, these stories, and reflecting on how they might apply to our own lives, our own struggles, our own fears.
Yes, and the hymn offers us a framework, a language for grappling with those very real human experiences. It points toward a path of seeking refuge, of finding strength and meaning in something beyond our limited selves.
And that seeking, that turning towards something greater,
Yes.
that's where the power of devotion comes in, right?
Exactly. The Chandrashekhara Ashtakam isn't about passively admiring Shiva from a distance.
Right.
It's about actively seeking a relationship with the divine, cultivating a sense of surrender and trust.
Okay.
It's through this connection, this heartfelt devotion, that we can access the strength, guidance, and ultimately the liberation that the hymn speaks of.
So it's not just about intellectual understanding.
Yeah.
It's about engaging our hearts, our spirits in this process of seeking refuge and finding meaning.
Exactly. And the final verse of the hymn offers a powerful glimpse into the potential rewards of this path.
Okay.
It speaks of health, prosperity, and ultimately liberation. But it's crucial to understand these rewards within the context of the hymn's deeper message.
What do you mean?
Well, health in this sense isn't just about physical well-being.
Yeah.
It encompasses mental, emotional, and spiritual wholeness.
Right.
It's about thriving on all levels, living a life aligned with our highest purpose.
And prosperity, it's not just about material wealth.
Right.
It's about abundance
Yeah.
in all areas of life, fulfilling relationships, meaningful work, and a deep sense of inner peace.
Exactly. And liberation, that ultimate goal of freedom from suffering, from the endless cycle of birth and death,
Right.
that's the pinnacle of spiritual achievement.
Okay.
And while these rewards might seem far off, the hymn reminds us that the journey itself is transformative.
Sure.
Each step we take towards self-awareness, compassion, connection with the divine is a victory in itself.
It's about the journey, not just the destination.
Exactly.
But as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious about something. We've talked about what we can gain from embracing the teachings of the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam. But are there any potential pitfalls or challenges along this path?
That's a thoughtful question, and it leads us into some deeper reflections on the nature of spiritual growth. Perhaps that's a good place to pause and let our listener absorb what we've discussed so far. We'll pick up right where we left off in part 2 of this deep dive. Welcome back. You asked about potential pitfalls on this spiritual path.
Right.
It's an important question.
Yeah.
Because the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam,
Yeah.
while offering solace,
Yeah.
also points towards a journey that requires effort and vigilance.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It can't all be moonlight and mountain bows, right? Where do the challenges come in?
Well, the hymn itself doesn't dwell on the negative,
Okay.
but the broader Hindu tradition recognizes that spiritual growth isn't always easy or straightforward.
Right.
One common pitfall is mistaking the rituals for the essence.
Okay.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in the outward forms of devotion,
Yeah.
chanting offerings, even memorizing the verses,
Yeah.
without actually cultivating the inner transformation that's at the heart of it all.
So it's like going through the motions without truly understanding the meaning,
Right.
without letting those deeper truths penetrate our hearts and minds.
Exactly. It would be like reciting the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam daily,
Yeah.
without ever pausing to reflect on its teachings,
Right.
without trying to apply those principles to your own life, your own struggles.
And I imagine that doubt and skepticism can also be a real challenge,
Yes.
especially in a world that often prioritizes logic and reason over spiritual beliefs.
Sure.
How do we reconcile those two ways of seeing the world?
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
It's natural to have doubts along the way.
Right.
The key is to approach those doubts with curiosity and openness,
Okay.
rather than letting them shut down your exploration entirely.
Right.
Doubt can be a powerful tool for refining our understanding,
Yeah.
for pushing us to seek deeper meaning.
So it's not about suppressing those skeptical voices, but about engaging with them,
Right.
using them as fuel for our spiritual growth.
Precisely. True faith isn't blind belief. It's a process of inquiry, a willingness to wrestle with difficult questions,
Right.
and emerge with a more grounded, more resilient sense of conviction.
It makes sense. It's like any relationship. It needs honest communication to grow stronger. And speaking of challenges, I imagine setbacks and disappointments are inevitable on any path that requires growth and transformation. How do we deal with those moments when we stumble, when we feel like we're failing?
Absolutely. The spiritual path isn't a straight line upwards.
Right.
There will be moments when you falter, when you feel lost or discouraged.
Sure.
That's when the qualities of resilience and perseverance become crucial.
Okay.
Remember, the hymn reminds us that Shiva is the ultimate protector,
Right.
always there to support us, even in our darkest moments.
So it's about trusting in that support even when we can't see it.
Yes.
Even when we feel alone in our struggles.
Exactly. And it's about cultivating that inner strength that allows us to get back up,
Right.
to learn from our mistakes, and to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
The hymn offers us a framework for understanding that those setbacks aren't failures.
Okay.
They're opportunities for growth reminders to deepen our faith and strengthen our resolve.
It's like that saying, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Right.
It's about that unwavering commitment to keep striving, to keep reaching for that higher ideal, even when we fall short. But doing it all alone can feel daunting. Are there ways to find support on this journey?
That's where the community of fellow seekers, the Sangha, becomes so important.
Okay.
Having a group of like-minded individuals who share your aspirations and support you along the way can make all the difference.
So it's not just about individual effort. It's about recognizing that we're part of something larger, a tradition, a lineage of seekers who have walked this path before us.
Precisely. The spiritual journey can be both deeply personal and profoundly communal.
Right.
We draw strength from our connection with the divine, but also from the support and encouragement of others who understand the challenges and joys of this path.
It's like we're all climbing the same mountain, supporting each other along the way.
A beautiful image. And that brings us back to the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam itself. You were struck by the image of Shiva destroying 3 cities with his cosmic bow. But there's another verse that speaks to a different kind of power, a more internal transformative force.
Which one is that?
The verse where Shiva is described as having burned the god of love to ashes with the fire from his third eye. Now think about what that represents. Love, desire, passion. These are powerful forces that can drive us to great heights, but they can also consume us, lead us astray.
I'm starting to see where you're going with this. It's about mastering those inner forces, isn't it?
Exactly. Shiva in this act isn't rejecting love or passion outright.
Okay.
He's demonstrating his mastery over them, his ability to transcend those primal urges and channel their energy towards a higher purpose.
So it's not about denying our emotions, but about cultivating a higher awareness, a sense of detachment that allows us to choose how we respond to those powerful forces.
Precisely. It's about finding that balance between passion and detachment, between engagement with the world and the cultivation of inner peace.
And how do we cultivate that detachment, that inner peace, in the midst of all the chaos and distractions of daily life?
The hymn offers a few clues. Remember the image of Shiva covered in ash?
Yes.
Ash in Hindu tradition symbolizes renunciation, the letting go of worldly attachment.
I see the connection, but isn't there a part of us that wants to hold on to the things we love, the people experiences that bring us joy? Is detachment about pushing those things away?
That's a natural concern. Detachment in this context isn't about rejecting the world or the people in it.
Okay.
It's about shifting our perspective, recognizing the impermanence of all things.
Right.
It's about finding that inner stillness, that core of peace that remains unshaken even when the world around us is in flux.
So it's like cultivating that moonlight quality we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
That sense of calmness and perspective that Shiva embodies.
It's about finding that space within ourselves where we're not constantly swept away by the tides of emotion, by the ups and downs of life. It's about cultivating that inner sanctuary where we can connect with our true selves, with that spark of the divine that resides within each of us.
That resonates with me. It's like finding that quiet space in the middle of a storm, that place of stillness where we can reconnect with our inner compass, with what truly matters.
And from that place of stillness, we can engage with the world more fully with greater wisdom and compassion.
Right.
We can act with purpose, with clarity, without being overwhelmed by the chaos and distractions around us.
It's like that saying, be in the world, not of it.
Yes.
It's about finding that balance between engagement and detachment, between action and stillness.
Precisely. And the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam, through its powerful imagery and evocative storytelling, offers us a path toward that balance, a way of navigating the complexities of life with greater awareness, grace, and ultimately a deeper sense of peace.
It's a path that requires courage, commitment, and a willingness to constantly challenge ourselves. But as we've explored in this deep dive, the potential rewards are profound. A life filled with meaning, purpose, and ultimately liberation.
It is a journey worth embarking on, and as we continue our exploration of the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam, we'll delve deeper into the specific practices and teachings that can help you navigate this path with greater clarity and confidence.
Okay, before we get into that, let's give our listener a moment to absorb all these layers of meaning, these profound insights. We'll be back shortly to continue our deep dive into the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam. We've been exploring some pretty profound concepts, really grappling with the meaning of this hymn, its power, and the challenges it presents.
It's been quite a journey. And one thing that keeps coming up for me is the hymn's relevance to our lives today. It's not just some ancient text. It feels like it speaks directly to the anxieties and uncertainties we all face in the modern world.
You've hit on a key point.
Yeah.
That's why this hymn continues to resonate across centuries. The longing for refuge, for a source of strength and stability in the face of chaos. It's a universal human need, perhaps even more pronounced in today's fast-paced, ever-shifting world.
And it's not just about finding an escape.
No.
As we've discussed, the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam encourages us to cultivate inner strength.
Yes.
To find that unshakable core within ourselves, which is a tall order.
It is. The hymn doesn't offer a passive form of protection.
Right.
It's an active call to cultivate those same qualities that Shiva embodies: calmness, detachment, compassion.
Right.
It's about developing the strength to face our challenges head on,
Right.
without being swept away by fear or doubt.
It's almost like a spiritual workout regimen. Instead of just hoping for the best, we're actively training our minds and hearts to be more resilient,
Yeah.
more aligned with the divine.
I like that analogy. And just like any training, it takes effort, discipline,
Right.
willingness to push beyond our comfort zones.
Yeah.
It's about confronting our own limitations, our own attachments, and working towards a higher state of being.
But there are potential rewards for that effort, right?
Yes.
The Chandrashekhara Ashtakam speaks of health, prosperity, and ultimately liberation.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty high stakes.
They are, and it's important to understand those rewards within the context of the hymn's deeper message.
Right.
Health, for instance, isn't just about physical well-being.
Right.
It encompasses mental, emotional, and spiritual wholeness.
It's about thriving on all levels, living a life that's truly in alignment with our highest purpose.
Precisely. And prosperity isn't simply about material wealth. It's about abundance in all areas of life, fulfilling relationships, meaningful work, and most importantly, a deep sense of inner peace.
And liberation, that ultimate goal of freedom from suffering from the cycle of birth and death,
Yeah,
is something most of us can only imagine.
it is. And while these rewards might seem incredibly distant, the hymn reminds us that the journey itself is where the transformation happens. Every step towards self-awareness, compassion, and deeper connection with the divine is a victory in itself.
It's not about reaching some imagined finish line,
No.
but about the constant striving, the constant effort to grow and evolve.
Right, but that effort isn't meant to be solitary. Remember, we talked about the importance of community,
Yeah.
of finding support on this path. That's where the idea of the Sangha,
Right.
the community of fellow seekers, comes in.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we're not alone in this journey.
That makes me think of the image we talked about earlier of everyone climbing the same mountain, supporting each other along the way.
Yes.
We can draw strength from shared experiences, from the wisdom and encouragement of those who have walked this path before us.
Exactly. The spiritual journey can be deeply personal,
All right.
but it's also profoundly communal.
Wow.
We can learn from each other, inspire each other, and hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And when we stumble, as we inevitably will, that community can be a source of immense support and guidance.
I think that's a really important point, especially for those who are just starting out on this path.
Mm-hmm.
It can feel overwhelming at times. And having that sense of belonging, that network of support, can make all the difference.
It can. And as you delve deeper into the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam, you'll find that it offers a framework,
Right.
a roadmap for navigating this path. It's not just about lofty ideals.
Right.
It also provides practical tools and teachings that can help you cultivate those qualities of calmness, detachment, and compassion in your everyday life.
So it's about bringing these profound concepts down to earth, making them relevant to our everyday experiences, our everyday struggles.
Exactly. It's about integrating these teachings into your thoughts, your actions, your relationships. It's about embodying the essence of the hymn, not just intellectually, but also emotionally and spiritually.
That's a powerful reminder.
Yeah.
It's not just about acquiring knowledge. It's about transforming ourselves, about aligning our lives with those deeper truths that the hymn reveals.
And that transformation, as we've discussed, it's an ongoing process. There will be moments of clarity, moments of doubt, moments of profound connection, and moments of feeling utterly lost.
Yeah.
But the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam reminds us that throughout this journey, Shiva is the ultimate protector, the source of strength and guidance we can always turn to.
It's like having that cosmic safety net, that unwavering support, even when we can't see it, even when we feel alone.
Yes, and it's about cultivating that inner trust, that unwavering faith that allows us to navigate the ups and downs of life with greater equanimity,
Right.
with a deeper sense of purpose.
It's been an incredible journey, diving into the depths of the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam. We've explored its symbolism, its stories, its profound teachings, and we've tried to connect those ancient truths to the challenges and opportunities we face in our modern lives.
I agree. And as we conclude this deep dive, I'm left with a sense of awe and gratitude for the enduring power of this hymn. It's a gift that continues to offer guidance, inspiration, and solace to those who approach it with an open heart and a willingness to delve beneath the surface.
And it's a reminder that the journey of spiritual growth is a lifelong adventure filled with challenges and triumphs, setbacks and breakthroughs.
Yes.
But it's a journey worth taking, a journey that can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves, our place in the universe, and ultimately to a life of greater meaning, purpose, and freedom.
It is. And as you continue your own exploration of the Chandrashekhara Ashtakam, may its wisdom guide you, its power protect you, and its beauty inspire you on your path.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's been as enriching and transformative for you as it has been for us.